This is the extremely high-tech setup for our Birefringence experiment. So it's pretty straightforward. First of all, we have an overhead projector, which I'm just going to turn on. That, hopefully it's actually going to light. So there we've got that on. Next I'm going to take, I have 2 sheets of Polaroid, and they should be cut so that if I place one, I'm trying to see if you can kind of see this, if I place the other, it should cancel out. So you can see this pair is crossed, so it's not quite going to work. Let's try another one. And there you go, you don't know what finger gesture I'm making towards you right now. Eh? Anyway, whereas if it's at right angles, it's not quite, you know, like it's not amazing, but you can see through it. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these and place it there. And that will be our first part. And then I'm going to take this box, high tech, sit it on top, and then I'm going to put this here. Now you can see the effect of that there, because there it's pretty clearly illuminated. And when I put this in place, it's blocking out all light. And of course, if I rotate this, we get different amounts of reduction, but it's clearly cut out when it's at 90 degrees, like that. So that's the setup for our experiment. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to put different objects into place, and we're going to observe the effects. So I'm going to dim the lights a bit for this and reset, and we'll have a look. So again, just a quick, you know, you can tell the Polaroid's a bit dirty, a bit scratched up, but when I put the other sheet in place, it's dark. So I'm going to take a bunch of stuff. So basically I have a box of things, and the first of them is these, which is this kind of medieval looking torture device. And you can see there we've just got a kind of squeezable metal handle, and there's kind of 2 little bits, as you can see, of a kind of perspex-like material between them. And the point of this is I can actually squeeze it, and if I squeeze down here, it kind of introduces a strain across this. And of course, if I do that under regular light, it has absolutely no effect. However, let's say that I go here. So you can see here the effect of just the polarized light passing through the regular material. What I'm going to do now is just strain it. And you can watch, so this is me straining. You can watch those bands of color slowly appear and increase as they travel across. Like that. The next thing I have is just this not very at all interesting plastic sheet. So you can probably barely see it when I have it in front of the camera. So you can see, maybe you can make out the text there if I cover it with my hand. But yeah, it just says this is a sample 75 micron polyester pocket. So again, garbage. If we put it in, you can see this effect on it. So again, when we're looking at this part of the experiment, what we want to see is kind of the effect of the polarization on birefringent material. So you want to maybe talk about where these colors kind of come from. So as for me, I'm not like you. Like, I'm a lot better, and I like things that are cool, and you like nerdy lame things like these. So you can see, here we go, bunch of protractors, set squares. I think I have a ruler too. Let me grab that. There we go, a couple rulers. Again, observing them under regular light, nothing interesting whatsoever. Yeah, there's a big pile of them. But when we introduce them into the, for want of a better expression, we'll call it a polarizing microscope. Hopefully you can see the effect. Likewise, we don't all want to eat lunch with our hands, so here we go. Our spoon for our melted chocolate, our knife for stabbing enemies, and our spoon for the blood of our enemies. And again, nothing too fancy, nothing too interesting in them, but if I put them in again to the microscope, you can see not just this, but as I rotate, you can find the colors kind of shift and become more vivid. So again, a good thing for your lab diary, we'll be discussing, you know, these kind of effects. We live in an imperfect world, and unfortunately some people choose still to study geology. But for geologists, you can see I've got here these little slips of mica. Now I'm going to give you a minute to calm down. Okay, so let's see what happens when we put a sheet of mica into the device. Now, I'm going to use this larger sheet, which you can maybe just make out there. I'm going to put it in, and you can see these colors appear. Now, as I rotate, you'll find they come to a certain point here, where basically the image has disappeared. Now we call this the angle of extinction, and in a more sophisticated apparatus we could measure that and identify the mineral from it. Here we can just observe the effect, but still you can see as I rotate it round, you find that angle of extinction occurring everywhere. The surface is getting quite warm here. But yeah, so you can see this effect. And I have lots of little bits of mica which I'm just going to quickly sprinkle in, like food into a fish tank. You can kind of see the effect there as I rotate. It's fancy, right? So the final thing I'm going to put into place is this, which is just a circular glass plate. You see, nothing really on it, nothing interesting. And when I put it in, nothing really happens. There's a small bit of light appearing there, but it's just, it's kind of a spoiler. It's a bit of sellotape on the surface here. So let's see if I can find that. There we go. So you can maybe make out just where my thumbnail is here. Okay, so that should be cleaned off now. And there we go. Nothing this time, so we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to add sellotape to the top of this, and it should give us a kind of result. So this is just regular sellotape and regular scissors, and I've been told I'm allowed to use them again as long as I stop stabbing fellow members of stuff. So I'm going to take this. I'm just going to take one layer, as you can see, stick it across the middle of the slide like that. I'm going to smooth it down a bit. Doesn't really match here because, well, you'll see, but if I put it in place, there you can kind of see the effect. And of course I can also just rotate it round, and it will again come to a point where it cancels and then comes back. Quite a nice effect there. So let's take another layer, and I'm going to put it straight across the other one, like that. So you can maybe see just the kind of structure of the sellotape I've put on. And here you can see the middle's kind of blacked out now as if it's crossed, which it is. And the bits where I folded it over the end are appearing red. So let's add a couple more layers on. So this time I'm going to add a layer at 45 degrees across the other two. So I'm going to put it across like this. And I'm going to fold this one over. And then I'm going to add a layer parallel to that, crossing both of these. And this one I am going to fold over. And you'll notice it impacts just over that first reflection too. So I'm going to leave that unfolded, and let's put it back in place. The sellotape's unfortunately stuck there. You can kind of see, do you see that kind of peachy color coming through, and then the orange that we have underneath? Just there. It comes back around. Look at that, and then there we have red and green. It's just all from sellotape. I'm going to take this off and show you. Still, I haven't added any filters or anything. So I'm going to take a minute this time. I'm going to add on a whole bunch of sellotape just at random. So you can have a think about what I've added so far and the effect it's had. And you're going to be able to see what bits I'm adding. And consider what you might expect to happen there. So that is mainly horizontal there. I'm going to add some going odd angles across. Try not to lose the end of my tape. Let's do 2 more bits. Actually, let's do 3. So I'll add a bit like that, and a bit like this. Let's do 1 more. Purely at random. Alright, so let's put this in place. I'm just going to fold everything over so it doesn't stick too much to the Polaroid. So you can see, there we go. If I rotate it around, that's just how those colors start appearing. So I didn't do a great job folding everything over, I'm afraid. Sorry, 1 second. So if I put this in place, you can kind of see the effect of all those layers.